VTuber-loving pig. So mean in Japanese. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I hope my neighbors can't hear me. Minasan konnichiwa and welcome back to my channel. I am Reina Scully coming to you from Japan to teach you some ridiculous but potentially useful Japanese. You guys sent me a whole buttload of sentences and phrases and, well, it is gonna be a wild ride today. But before we start, today's video is brought to you by HelloTalk. HelloTalk is a great way to interact with native speakers and fellow learners to help accelerate your language learning. As I always say, it is crucial to immerse yourself when learning a new language, and HelloTalk is a great way to do this. You can comfortably talk to native speakers and make language partner friends without ever leaving your home. It's basically like a polyglot social media app where people share stuff that's going on and they often write it out in the language they're learning in, and then other people jump in and help correct the paragraphs or sentences for them. Multiple people can jump on and give their corrections, so you get a really good measure for what works best. The Moments Wall is fun because it's casual but personable, people share pictures, and it's kind of like living vicariously through them. But I actually love the search function because you can choose to have it connect you with serious learners, and most people on there are very dedicated, and therefore it's really motivating. You can even have it connect you with people that are nearby if you turn your location on. To learn more, check out the link in my description below so you can try out HelloTalk for yourself. It is so bright all of a sudden, but I can't control the sun, so sorry. Since HelloTalk is heavily based on fixing each other's translations, I thought this would be a good time to resurrect Reina Sensei, where I translate your crazy phrases from Instagram. As always, thank you to everyone for participating. There were so many to choose from, which I appreciate, but a solid 70% of them were intensely NSFW, so thank you for that as well. All right, let's go. Number 1, let me touch your feet. 足触らせて。足触らせて. So, 触る means to touch, and 触らせて turns into let me touch. 足 is feet, and in a grammatically sound sentence, you actually would want to add を 足を触らせて, but since this is a casual phrase, you can just omit that. You could also say, can I or may I touch your feet? 足触ってもいい? 足触ってもいい? I hope my neighbors can't hear me. Next, I am a simp. So get this, there is actually a Japanese equivalent to simp, and it is either kaonashi or bachabuta, and it's actually pretty clever. I'll explain it in a moment, but first, 俺はkaonashi or 俺はbachabuta. 俺はkaonashi or 俺はbachabuta. However, simp in Japanese has zero positive connotations to it, even in a joking context, so you would really never use it to describe yourself. Anyway, let me explain the etymology of kaonashi and bachabuta. So kaonashi is directly referencing no face from Spirited Away because he's kind of creepy and he completely lacks any social skills. The only way he's able to communicate is by saying until he's fed. This, coupled with the fact that all he knows to do is throw money at you thinking you'll enjoy it, is exactly why in Japanese internet slang, kaonashi is the equivalent of simp. So this actually mainly references VTuber simps because you throw money at VTubers in order to get attention from them, but that's where bachabuta comes into play. So bacha is short for bacharu as in virtual, so virtual YouTubers, VTubers, and buta is pig. So basically, VTuber-loving pig is simp. There's actually another word that is a way nicer way of describing yourself as a simp for someone, and it's oshi. It really means that you're an intense fan and that you're rooting for them. It comes from the contraction of the word ichioshi, which actually means that it is your #1 recommendation, and it actually had nothing to do with fandoms. You would use ichioshi to describe your #1 recommendation for food or music or a movie. All right, that is what we call a tangent. Moving on, are there words for sexual orientations / gender identities? There are indeed. They're actually super easy because they're borrowed words. All you have to do is pronounce them in a more Japanese manner. So gay is gay. Lesbian is lesbian. Bisexual is bisexual. Cisgender is cisgender. Transgender is transgender. Queer is queer, and intersex is intersex. There are far more clinical terms as well, but nowadays people will understand and recognize these directly borrowed words better. And next is, I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I got so many of these. Now I know in the weird exercise tutorial it says, 私はひどい下痢です. But I think that's weird because you're essentially saying I am a bad case of diarrhea. I think it should have said 私はひどい下痢をしてます. 私はひどい下痢をしてます, which is basically I'm experiencing the bad diarrhea or I have or I'm doing the bad diarrhea. 私はひどい下痢をしてます. Now I don't know, they both sound not good. Anyway, we need to hide the body. This is pretty straightforward. 遺体を隠さないと. 遺体を隠さないと. So, 遺体 means dead body or corpse, and be sure to pronounce it very flat because if you accidentally emphasize the 体 in 遺体, it means it hurts. So, yeah, 遺体を隠さないと. 遺体. I know it's like really hard to hear the difference, right? So 隠す means to hide, but when you conjugate it into 隠さないと, it turns into we must hide it or else, which does fit the tone of we need to hide the body. And next, when someone is inconvenient and you want them to back the F out. Okay, so I think you'd basically just want to say GTFO or move in the most insulting way. So I would probably go with どけよ, 消えな, あっち行きな. It's all about the attitude. どけよ means effing move. 消えろ means disappear, so you're essentially asking them to just go away. And あっち行きな is literally go over there, but you're basically saying get out of my sight. Up next is belly button lint. All right, I don't know why you want to learn how to say this. There actually is a word for belly button lint in Japanese, and it is heso no goma, and it literally means belly button sesame seed. So heso means belly button, and no means of, goma is sesame seed. Then we have, I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. Okay, this one's a little bit hard, but I remember this from when my cousin made me go watch Harry Potter in Japan. I believe it was, 我ここに誓う、我よからぬことを企む者あり。我ここに誓う、我よからぬことを企む者あり. So, ware is just an old-fashioned and formal way of saying I, me, or myself. It is used in a lot of anime to depict old age or wisdom or status. And like in this case, it's fitting lingo to use for spellcasting or enchantments. Chikau means to declare a promise. Yokaranu means something with ill intention. Takuramu means to plan or plot something like you're considering doing it. Mono in this case and with this kanji means person, so it's pointing back at you. I myself am doing this. And next we have, where can I buy condoms? Good, everybody should learn how to say this. コンドームはどこで買えますか? コンドームはどこで買えますか? So condom is コンドーム. Doko is where, and 買えますか is can I purchase it. FYI, latex is latex, which sounds like a Pokemon. And then we have, I know you know that I know you know. Oh man, wait. I know that you know that I know you know. Okay. あなたが私はあなたが知ってるって私は知ってる? No way. Was that it? あなたが私はあなたが知ってるって私は知ってる. I don't know if it's right. So, あなたが is that you, blank blank blank. 私はあなたが知ってる. I know you know. 私は知ってる. I know. Oh my god, my brain! Moving on. Sorry, officer, I was trying something I read from a manga. すみません、おまわりさん。漫画で読んだことを試してました。すみません obviously means I'm sorry or pardon me in a formal way, which is how you should be addressing a police officer. おまわりさん is a childish way to say police officer, but it does work in this context. The real way to say police officer is 警察官、漫画で読んだこと、what was read in a manga, 試してました is I was trying or testing it out. And this next one is petty. I have asked my coworkers, friends, teachers, no one can tell me. Petty is an interesting one because it has more than one meaning in English. So petty as in not serious or unimportant, like in petty theft, would be sasai, and it would be used like sasai na mondai, a not so serious issue. But the other petty, as in you're describing someone that is vindictive, dramatic, and cares way too much about dumb things, would be something like sekoi, which is essentially small-minded and stingy. There are also a few phrases that hold the same meaning, like utsuwa ga chisai, which literally means their vessel is small, but it basically does mean that they are overreactive, stingy, and petty. I think you could also use otonagenai, which actually does mean immature or childish, but depending on the level of pettiness and context, I do think it works because it is very shameful to be otonagenai. And up next, what's the equivalent of saying bruh? All right, I think it would be something like oi or ano na. So oi is basically hey, but if you say it with that inflection, I think it would fall more towards dude or bruh. And ano na in that exasperated tone means hey now or come on, which I do think works for bruh. And next we have Alyssa asking, how do we say let's get haunted? It's actually really cute. Noroware yo. Noroware yo. So noroi is curse, and norowareru means to become haunted or cursed, and adding yo at the end kind of adds a let's do it to it. Noroware yo. This next one is, I ain't never seen two pretty best friends. It's always one of them gotta be ugly. Okay, all right, how am I gonna do this one? It's really hard to translate English that has so many grammatical errors in it, but that's what's funny, so give me a second. 友達が2人とも可愛いのなんて見たことない。絶対1人はブス。So mean in Japanese. 友達が2人とも可愛いのなんて見たことない。絶対1人はブス。友達 is friends. 二人とも is both of them. 可愛いの means them being cute. And なんて means such a thing. 見たことない is I've never seen it. Now the second part, 絶対 means no matter what or for sure. 一人は one of them is ブス. Ugly. By the way, busu is such a mean word. It has the same weight of a curse word. So I translated the first part rather literally like the I've never seen it part, but I actually think it might work better if you say 友達が2人とも可愛いなんてありえない。友達が2人とも可愛いなんてありえない。arienai basically means it can't be or no way, and I feel like this fits the aggression better. Arienai. It can't be. Alright, so there are about a bazillion more, but I think this is where I have to call it because I'm exhausted and I just went through 3 battery packs. And as ridiculous and silly as a lot of these phrases were, I hope I was able to convey and explain context, nuance, and connotation to you. Because I think that's what's difficult about casual or conversational Japanese and English. There is so much slang and modern terminology that's packed with meaning, and it's so crucial to convey that properly when you want to sound natural or native. Which is again why HelloTalk is awesome for this. In fact, if you want phrases like these translated by a native, definitely give HelloTalk a shot. You are probably going to get very legitimate answers, even though your phrases are on the wilder side. But anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments which phrases were useful to you. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you to everybody for participating. Thank you HelloTalk for sponsoring this video. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. 손자 맞다네. Oh my god, I'm so tired! Sidebar, did you know that there is a neuroanatomical reason why a lot of people have feet fetishes or foot fetishes? It's because, I don't know if you've ever seen a homunculus diagram of the anatomy of a brain before, but it emphasizes all of the nerves that are hypersensitive in your brain. So for example, your eyes are really sensitive to touch, so it's very, very large on the homunculus graph. And the tips of your fingers are rather large, your tongue is large, your nose is large, basically things that are very sensitive to physical touch. On this homunculus graph, the feet are physically very close to your genitals. How weird is that? So there is legitimately a biological reason why a lot of people have foot fetishes. What? Amazing! And next up, I have anal fissures. My mom is fucking here and I just screamed, I have anal fissures. Oh my fucking God, okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna skip the anal fissures one because I don't know the real way to say anal fissures. I know how to say kireji, which is like you ripped your butt. Kireji ni nachchatta. Kireji desu. I don't know. I've never had this problem.